1, 2, 3, and.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Remnant community. We are here today with the wonderful, amazing, talented, awesome, anointed, can't even think
Yeah.
of all of the words to describe her, Miss Cami Casper herself,
Yeah.
located in Georgia. So today is just going to be a conversation, you all. So stay tuned. Please stay tuned. Listen to what she has to say. Her testimony is awesome. She's a beautiful woman. She has a lot of things going on. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. So Cami, how are you
Yeah.
today?
I'm great, girl. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Good. Thank
So
you for having
again, Cami, oh, you are welcome. Thank you for saying yes.
me.
Thank you for saying yes. Um, Basically, Cami, this podcast is really to highlight our culture. It's
Right.
really to highlight um, and give voice to who we are as a people, give a
hmm
platform to who we are as a people. I feel like the conversations that we usually have kind of behind closed doors is not
hmm
in forefront enough.
hmm
So that's where this podcast was birthed out of.
Right.
You were one of the very first people that was dropped in my spirit as a guest because I've sat and watched you over the course of years.
hmm
And I've watched how you were a dental assistant
hmm
um, or dental hygienist, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then how you have just jumped into the beauty industry and just taken it by force.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've watched how God has just moved in your life and your family's life. And so I'm gonna let you kind of tell everybody who you are, and we kind of gonna go from there.
Okay. Well, yes, my name is Cami. I am located in Augusta, Georgia. This is primarily where we've been now for about 10 years. I actually am from Augusta, but my husband and I met in high school and we got married, and military had us traveling all over. So we came back about 2015, and while I was away, I decided to get into dentistry, and I got my degree in Washington State. And coming back to Augusta, I was just ready to get into dentistry here. Now that I'm home, I have my family here. Um, I had my whole like plan, I guess, set up. And, they always say don't make plans because God will laugh. And so I caught myself really trying to like retire with that and get like everything together, be a big girl, about that. And I just saw a lot of sadness in corporate world. I saw a lot of people like just angry all the time, mad. They weren't operating in love. They were operating in just spiteful and just gotta get a client in here or a patient. Gotta get a patient in here. We gotta get the money and get out. But I'm more passionate. I'm more like into, helping people bedside manner and beyond. Like I really want to be there for my patients. And I told the Lord, well, I
Right.
didn't tell him, I asked him, I said, Lord, if you can get me out of this, and give me into something where I can actually be more intentional about what I wanted to, give these people, give them a different view of service care. And I don't know really what happened, but I just know with the Instagram and algorithm, lashes popped up and I took that course and I just flourished with that. And then I went ahead and said, okay, well, if I'm doing great in that, I can go ahead and take a microblading shading course. Took that one, flourished with that. And I made my first six figures my first year officially out of dentistry, which blew my mind. And it's been up since then. And I've now gotten to a chance where I can start putting back into my community. So I teach classes. I'm also like trying to mentor anything I could do to help people not feel trapped in their careers. And that's what I believe God is trying to provide through me and through many of us. But that was generally it.
That is awesome.
Mm,
And definitely when you put God first in something and see it take off is very evident, right?
yeah,
And you've had a lot of success in a very, very short period of time.
yeah.
What would you say is your growth points? Like, what would you say from point A to right now were some of the things that you've had to grow through,
Mhm.
and some of the things you kind of struggled with a little bit, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So I would say what I've grown at probably would be my patience. I was usually a person that would just buy. In learning with business, there's no back room. There's no one else helping you. It's just you. So I made a lot of mistakes in my purchases with my business, and that kind of shadowed how my life would go personally. I'm always a person of go, go, go. And I don't know what year it was, but the Lord had to slow me down and just say, you can wait on this. And I started to see myself spiritually flourish and grow, and just honestly just take things at a time, let the Lord work, let him do what he needs to do through me, and I could just kind of see things from different perspectives. And I don't know what the hustle was about, just getting, but when I saw that, I saw a lot of things fail and fall. And so I realized that's probably one of the things that I have grown from, is just not rushing to do something, taking my time. I've been wanting to purchase a new car, and I've been saying it, and it has not happened yet, but it's because it's in God's timing. And I could have bought it a long time ago, but I feel like if I wait, I'm going to get just what I want. So things like that I'm getting to understand, like, it's worth waiting for. And then what was your other question, girl? I forgot.
What was the struggles? But you answered it.
Oh,
You answered it. No, you're good.
there you go.
So,
There you go.
and one of the things that I've noticed, just as a business strategist and an admin and a consultant with businesses, I noticed that a lot of people's systems, especially when they're starting off,
Oof.
and they have that momentum like you do, like I gotta get it.
Yes. Mhm.
But their systems are not set up, or their systems is what usually causes them to fail. What
Yep.
would you say was some of your systems or plans or things that you had in place that was like, if I keep doing this, this
Mhm.
ain't gonna last long?
I guess I can just relate it for me, using my merchant, the company I use for that. I use Square, so a lot of that kind of like showed me, okay, girl, you gotta, change your ways on that. I didn't really have a strategy. I didn't have people. I try to do mentorships with other people, like help me. I told my client this morning, I was talking with her, and I said it's crazy when people want to start a business, how much there's so much gatekeeping, and like there's not a lot of information being shared. And I feel like
Right,
that's hurtful to a business. Like even on yesterday, I had a client come in here, and she was just saying, I'm discouraged. I can't seem to get people into my building. She also, because I also have a building where I rent out my rooms to my tenants. But she's saying that she can't find, how do you keep finding people to come in here? Well, for me, I had to learn a lesson of, you know what, you can't always just try to be stingy on who you want in your building. For one, like, a lot of people like to come in here and they don't have a lot of clientele. A lot of businesses are like, you can't come in here, you don't have any clientele. Well, that's not my problem. My problem is to provide a place for you. Your job is to pay me what you need to pay me. That's how that works. Some people are like kind of like just cutting off the arm and the leg, and people can't really grow. That happened to me when I was coming out from dentistry. I was looking for a place to rent, and everybody said, you need to have a clientele set up. And how am I supposed to grow if I'm just leaving my job and I have no clientele yet? So I need to give me the
right,
opportunity to grow. But the gatekeeping also was discouraging for me, seeing how people are, when I reach out for information on, how do I get an LLC? How do I find an EIN? Back then, what, 7, 8 years ago, all this information now is easy to find, but back then it wasn't as easy to find. So people
right.
are like, well, how do I do this and how do I do that? And I'm like, oh, it's free. Never pay for that. Never pay for this. You can get this. So I just feel like, generally I feel like with business, there's a lot of errors that come out of it. But I have learned through my merchant company what my flaws were financially. I have learned with just even with my clientele, with their feedback, how I can manage better, what their likes, dislikes are for, services I provide, buying quality equipment, getting new bed. I'll show you the bed in a little bit. This bed where I go over here, they be snoring on this bed. So, like things like that. Like you have to pay attention to things that are around you that you see that might be successful without purchasing things that could put you in a hole. But generally, just paying attention to little errors and then making the right corrections
Yeah.
to those, tweaking those a little bit.
I love the fact that you brought up gatekeeping. because
Yeah.
I made a post probably about a month or so ago about gatekeepers are people that like to control.
Yeah.
And it seems like to me, it's like if, as long as I have this information, I'm controlling everything else around me because
Right.
you don't have it and you need something from me.
Right.
But so I love the fact that you brought that up because it didn't distract you or discourage you from
Yeah.
doing what God had said, He
I
wanted
was
you to
gonna go
do.
harder. I was gonna figure it
Right.
out one way or another. I'm like, y'all not gonna keep holding this from me. I will kind of share something real quick that I do that maybe might help somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to, when I'm on like Instagram or social media and I see like someone who's doing what I do, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're doing a great job with that. And maybe you cannot afford their classes. Not saying I couldn't, I'm just saying I just was doing this way for this way. If you can't afford their classes, you can kind of look and kind of see their supplies. Most of the time, they'll always post what they're using. And that's a start
Mm-hmm.
right there. If people would just actually pay attention to what they're showing you in their background, what they're showing you on the camera, and use that, that can cut off half of the, I don't know what to do. I don't know what products to buy. But I'm like, that's a lot of the gatekeeping. They're trying to not tell you, but they're posting it and they're showing it like, hey, here it is. And then you're just like, well,
Right.
I don't know what to buy. So I always say that, like, just pay attention to the videos that you guys are watching that you are inquiring about and just see if they can learn for free that way before you get ready to really invest. Because these classes for people are really expensive. So make sure you find the right person too.
And one of the things that I would tell my clients is find people in your industry that are where
Yes,
you're trying to go and
yes,
follow them. Follow them
yes,
on social media. If you can't afford to take their classes, because I think some classes people have like maybe $5,000, $6,000.
yes, exactly. Yep.
If you can't afford, just like you said, watch what they
Hmm.
post,
Watch what they're posting.
watch their videos,
Simple.
look
It's
around
simple for
in
me.
their videos and see how things are set up, things like that. It's easy to kind of get the information that you need if you're paying attention. So I love the fact that you said that
Exactly.
too and brought that up.
Exactly. Yeah.
One
I love it.
and one of the things that we've been talking about, we've said a lot. I think me and you both, we're very, very open about our faith. We're
Yes.
very, very open about our faith.
Hmm.
Um, what is one thing that you can say um, that's helped your business when it comes down to listening to God? And has there been an opportunity where you didn't listen and it cost you?
Hmm. Hmm. So for the last question, yes, I can remember that firsthand. When I don't listen to God, and I'm again was being quick to purchase things, I realized
Mhm.
how much money I spent thousands of dollars on just experimental things for my business that were
Okay.
costly, but because they were trending and in style, and I was so quick to grow that way, I didn't allow the Lord to actually speak to me. Now, I don't know if he just loves me a little extra sometimes, but he will literally give me ideas at midnight, which I think many people do. So I would use these ideas and I'll be like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And I do it and it's so successful every single time. So I would just say, like, when it comes to like just not doing things the right way or not using your faith. I had to get a tattoo that said faith because I was like always just trying to do it my own way and figure out, okay, Lord, I'm gonna do it this way and do that way. And I end up leaving my career of 8 years in dentistry. I ended up being broke, zero, nothing in the bank. And I was like, you know what? If I just try it God's way, it might work out a little bit better than over here trying to do it my way. And
No,
basically,
right.
keep up with the Joneses and trying to find, well, how do they make money when God literally gave me this gift? And the gift, I had to actually work on the gift. When people think all of a sudden, like, I can just do lashes. I've never did lashes a day in my life until I started doing it. But because I started doing it and I really
Wow.
put effort into it and I really started doing brows and I really put effort into it and I made mistakes, but I was so quick to correct them and take the extra courses I need to take, pay the money for the classes, like things like that. I can honestly say like, oh yeah, for sure. I made the mistakes, but I was able to go ahead and turn that around. 'Cause yeah,
That is the fact that because I've seen your work, right?
yeah,
I I've seen your work. Um, so the fact that you haven't done lashes and stuff like that prior to
yeah,
is
never.
just like
Mm-mm.
right.
Mm.
That's definitely like, yeah, you definitely have some anointed hands. Like God's
Yeah.
definitely touching you in that.
And it's
Um,
lashes. Like you wouldn't even think like lashes could just change your whole career. Like for real, that's crazy.
it is. And but it's something that we have adopted in our culture.
Yeah.
Um, and what is the one of the things that you feel like we as Christians unintentionally sabotage ourselves when it comes to business?
Ooh, child. Unintentionally sabotage. Mm.
Yeah.
I think it's thinking you can do something that you've seen someone else do, and if you feel like they can do it, you can do it, and that it might not be your calling. And so a lot of people like to just say, okay, they see me working, or they'll see me with my nonprofit, Picnic and Prayer. And they're just like, okay, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. And that's not what God called you to do. And it might look like it's fun. It might look like you're making a lot of money. But I make no money with my nonprofit. And I make what I make with my business because I do that. But I do that based on my heart. So you might not have the right heart for it. You thinking, oh, I'm gonna make some money doing it. I'm gonna host this conference and I'm gonna make all this money. But that's not the goal. The goal is what heart are you reaching? What souls are you turning back to God?
Mm,
Like things like that. It's just like you, if you're in it for the wrong reasons, you're gonna see it not work out. So when they come to me and they're just like, well, I want to do what you're doing
absolutely.
because I want to make the money you're making. I'm like, yeah, I'll teach you. I have taught over 300 students last year, and I had to go back. I do my little annual reports and I can go back and look. And I only seen 3 out of 300 people that are actually still doing lashes.
So that means they probably were doing it because it was trending
They wanted,
hard.
it was trending. They saw the money that could be made from it. 'Cause I do encourage what they could make from it.
Hmm.
And that's only efforts if you continue to put your own effort into it. Yeah, I teach you what I teach you, but are you going back home? Are you practicing on your mom, your sister, your cousin? Are you taking any extra courses? I always encourage them, don't take my course, take other courses as well. Like, see what
Yeah.
else
Are you putting
you
in the
can.
work yourself? Absolutely.
And they just be like, oh, I took the course and then I don't see no work from them. I see no posts about what they've done. And then I'll hear from them like maybe 6 months, a year from then. Oh, hey, can you retrain me? And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Because it's like people just want to do it because
Hmm.
it looks cute. Um, one lady in particular tried to start a women's outreach conference like I did. And she called me and she was like, hey, I feel like God's trying to get me to do what you're doing. I really want you to help me. I don't judge no one's walk, honest to God. If you feel like that's what God told you to do, and I'm happen to be in that pathway where you can reach out to me, please do. And I was like, okay, well, we can come together, my brand and your brand, we'll make it work. And it never came to fruition. And I was like wondering why. And I went back to her page and saw some really pretty disturbing things. And so I was like, I'm glad we did not brand together because here I am trying to lift the glory of God and you're out here still doing things your own way and it doesn't work out and it's going to end up burning somebody. So I was glad that didn't work out, but that just shows you can't do everything you see, and if it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you at this time, or maybe just not in
Right.
general. Pray about it, pray about everything first.
So I love the fact that you kind of follow up with the people that you've trained, um, but it brings something to my forefront. Like we've been
Hmm.
talking about identity a lot. I've been talking about identity a lot on the podcast, and that's something that God has really, really put into me about is us focusing on who we really are.
Yeah.
Um, as somebody who's in the beauty industry, a lot of times I know that people come to that are in the beauty industry, of course, to edify our looks, right?
Mhm.
Have you encountered a time where ministry took over and it was
Oh,
more about ministering to the person, who that person was and that person's purpose outside of just the eyebrows and the lashes?
I have had church in here many times, many, many, many
Good.
times. Way too many. And I remember my mama even said it. My mother is a minister and she's been doing things since I've been born. And however she finds, she is just still a significant spiritual I guess, prayer warrior for me or whatever. But she is spot on most of the time for everything that I need. And she told me, she was like, you know what? Your job, your work is your ministry. And I was like, I don't know how lashes and brows can be a ministry, but we'll see. And I've had people come in here crying about situations, and I have stopped what I'm doing to pray with them. And I have had ladies in here going through, tremendous drama. And that's another thing. I'm a counselor. Didn't even know I was a counselor, girl, but I'm a counselor here. So they're coming here with all their problems, and I'm just sitting here taking it all in. And I'm like, okay, can I pray with you? And they're like, yes. And then I had a lady yesterday. A couple people had messaged me this week alone and had asked me to pray with them that I normally don't talk to. And it's just okay, they're actually seeing me in a different platform, even though this is what I do, they still know that I am still about my Jesus. And they're just like, they come in here with just so much, grief and heartache and whatever they're going through. And I will stop what I'm doing and pray. And a few times I've had actual ministers come in here themselves and proclaim over my life and do things. And so if my security cameras could talk, we'd be having church. We'd be having church in here.
Good, good. So with that, I know that you mentioned, for those who are not aware, she does this amazing, amazing event, and it's always on a day that I will not be on town. But
oh Lord, I try to make it on a Sunday. I think everybody's home on Sunday, but nobody's usually, I don't know.
I'd be like, come on now, God, like what we doing? But I've been watching the videos. I watched the recaps. I've heard about it from a lot of different people. She does what is prayer picnic, and I think you did like a prayer and paint thing at one point in time too, or
I
prayer
did.
and worship,
Did that.
or
Did
paint
it
and
twice.
worship or something.
Yeah, paint and praise and paint. Yeah.
There you go, paint and praise. I was like, I know it was one of those. So with you being so involved in the community and you're very involved in building people up, how do you maintain your emotional health? Because I know that's kind of can be draining when you have your clients come and they're pouring their hearts out, and then you're out in the community and from a spiritual side of it, spirits are, transfer, and sometimes you take on other people, and depending on how sensitive you are in the spirit realm, that can be kind of taxing onto you. So how do you maintain your emotional health without like bleeding out?
Oh, I almost bled out, child. Like December 2025, I wasn't gonna make it. I'm gonna tell you. I tell only a few people, and now I'm telling, I guess, a lot of people now. I really hit rock bottom in December of last year.
Oh,
It wasn't really nothing but a spiritual attack. Like it just was just it was a point where I guess I was going, and I didn't have the time to really pray anymore. I wasn't really focusing. I didn't fast, and I wasn't doing my daily word. I was just going with the flow. And I found myself literally feeling alone. And my husband was there, my kids are there. I wasn't physically alone, but I felt alone. And I felt that because I hadn't protected my heart, I didn't do my normal walks and talks with God. I have time in the shower where I just speak in tongues the entire time that I'm in the shower. And it's just me and Jesus and me and my spirit man. I'm just letting it all out. And I use that as a release. And it feels so good to just say whatever it is on my heart to the Lord. But I have stopped doing all that. So now I'm intentional with doing that. I'm intentional with my prayers. So I hosted my last event was December, I think it was the 14th. And I had told my team, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it through this pajama and praise party. I said, I'm just feeling like I am depleted. I feel tired. I feel weak. And amongst what I had going on within my business, I didn't feel like I could do it. And I had to pray and pray and pray. And I'm telling you, the day that we had that event, something was released from me that I had never experienced. Now, as the I guess the president or the creator of the event, I'm usually the one in the background. I'm never the one that wants to be up in the forefront. I try to hide, but my board, they're always like push me to the front. Like, no, we need you to go talk. We need you to introduce yourself. But I prayed a prayer on that day, for the Pentagon prayer, paint praise, sorry. December, and I prayed like I never prayed before out loud, and it released something so different in me. And I feel like now I know what God wants me to do within my, it's not just creating an event. I am to actually help people learn how to pray out loud. A lot of people just feel like we go through our silent battles and we're praying by ourselves, but we need to be able to pray amongst one another and pray for each other. So I'm realizing now, okay, you were doing all this stuff to me last year for a reason. And now here I am in December, the end of the month, end of the year, and he just unlocked a whole new level for me. So this Finnegan prayer is going to be different. I can
So,
tell you that.
so that means that 2026 is going to be a year of prayer for you, intentional
Yeah,
prayer for you.
intentional. That is the
Um,
word for the year. Intentional.
intentional prayer for you. Yes. I just want to say to you from experience as well from you know, a lot of people, some people know, a lot of people don't know. I assist a lot of different apostles and prophets and things out there in different states, different cities. But one of the
Mhm.
things that I've learned is when you have a high calling on your life
Mhm.
and you are getting ready to birth out something that you might not even know that you're carrying,
Ooh,
the
girl.
warfare
Oh
that
my God.
comes
Mm.
is so strong. And I
It's
feel like
crazy.
every time you get ready to go to another level, like I have one
Mhm.
of my best friends, and I tell her, me and her kind of joke about it now.
Mhm.
Every single time there's an event that she has going on, there's always something that happens.
Yeah.
And so, but we know what comes out of those events. We know what is
Mhm.
birthed. We know the atmosphere that is set in those events. And that's the
Mhm.
same thing with you. I've seen the people that lives that you have touched and
Right.
changed. And it's not just in those I don't want to say secluded, but those intentional God events. It's also when they
Right.
walk through your doors. And
Right.
so because you're intentional and you're touching lives, there is something that's on the inside of you that God is going to birth out this year that you might not even have the full capacity at this moment, but he's preparing you. So
Yeah.
that's why it's so heavy because the enemy can say, you know what, if I can get you to shut down, if
Yes.
I can get
Yeah.
you to stop, if
Yeah.
I can get you to not even think about it just for a moment or a second, and if
Yeah.
I can just get into that crack for that second, the
Mhm.
amount that of power that he has, he can
Right.
stop you instantly. So
Right.
we
That's what
have
it
to
felt
be
like.
very, very intentional. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to be very intentional. So anytime you ever feel like that, always remember that. Always
Yeah.
look at it from if I'm feeling this low and this bad, God is
Mhm.
about to do something major.
Mhm. I
Because
think I've experienced that
the
now.
enemy
Yeah.
won't try to, yeah, he's not gonna try to take you out if
Mhm.
there's not something greater on the other side.
Exactly.
So
I agree. Mhm.
um and you are a true testament of that. Like I'm
Mhm.
telling you. Um what is something that you would say if you could say one thing, one piece of advice
Mhm.
to people, what is that one thing that you would want to say?
Uh, Everybody to, I guess, ooh, that's a tough question because I can go on and on what I think people should do. I'm gonna just stick with what I tell everybody all the time is I don't align yourself with anyone else. Follow your own journey, follow your own path, just see what it looks like. One thing I always say is if you gonna know. So don't always be like, oh, I got to post this and post that and post this. Sometimes, working in silence and not saying anything can, protect you from being embarrassed and protect you from, just saying anything and it may not come to fruition. And then you're sitting there like, oh, yeah, I did say I was going to do that last year or 6 months ago. But the more you work and do things in silence and let the Lord actually work through you, let Him create the path for you, let Him open the doors for you. And then when you walk through them, you can post about it. But and so then just try to just always focus on right here, right now, what today is, and then work for tomorrow on the next day, and then work for the next day on that day. Don't focus a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year from now. People get overwhelmed trying to say, okay, well, I have 6 months to do this and do that. So the less pressure you put on yourself, the better. That's what I would say.
That is good. That is good because we talk about alignment a lot.
Yes.
I think everybody talks about aligning and everybody wants to align
Yeah.
with something, but I love the fact that you said about yourself.
Yourself.
We tend to lose ourselves when we align with the wrong people. So
Oh yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Hmm.
Now, if you could tell, because again, this is Black Beauty in Business, if you could
Hmm.
tell our culture, just specifically our
Hmm.
culture, one thing about uniting, what is one thing that you think that we could do to unite as a culture to move forward and create that generational wealth, create that unity, create that healthy dynamic amongst each
Stop
other?
gatekeeping. Stop gatekeeping. That is the problem. That is the biggest problem. And I understand people want to make money on their knowledge, and I get that. I respect it. But put it to a point where you're not feeling like, or not putting it where you're okay. So for me, I always give the baseline. Like I'll give, okay, this is the supplies you're probably going to need. This is how you're going to market. And then this is probably what you need to plan for. And then anything else from that, that's what I charge for. So if you want to know, okay, in detail, how do I plan? Let's talk about that. Okay, in detail, how much supplies did I purchase? We'll talk about that. Things like I'll break it down. So I will get what I need from that, but I'm still helping people understand that this is the bottom of it. So if you're interested, we can go further. But it's just the fact that people always just keeping information. Like, I'm not gonna tell you nothing until you pay me my money. That is gonna kill us.
Oh yes, that
That's gonna kill us. And
listen,
I've seen
we can
different.
end this
Okay,
right now because that was look, that was word right there. That was
stop
word right
killing.
there.
Stop
Stop
killing us.
gatekeeping.
Like, I need everyone to just understand, if you have anything to offer, God can bless you by just sharing where you bought your purse from. God can bless you on just sharing, little information like that. Like that would bless somebody. Go, oh my God, okay, I can get that. You don't know what God's going to do for you from that little get of like, tip or gift. So it's just like, just don't feel like you have to make money off of every piece of advice you give. I know a lot of people are really counting pennies, and it's definitely a hard time in the economy and in society alone. But I just feel like if we would get a little bit less strict on, making a buck and actually feeling like, okay, who can I help so they can help their families and their families can help their families. Like, let's look above the right now moment. I think we can actually do a lot better.
That is so good. That is so good.
Uh, mm,
Um,
mm.
now, so don't be DMing me about her because she is happily married.
Yes, she
I
is.
want to say about 20 years now, right?
It will be 20 years married in
Yeah.
March.
So I was like, yeah, I'm about 20 years, and she is a
Yes.
mother.
Yes.
So with all the components of that,
Mhm.
what does legacy mean to you?
Oh, I want my kids to wake up and not have to worry about what I had to worry about. That's legacy. Making sure that they can feel like mommy did what she needed to do to protect us, and she did a good job. That's legacy. And also enough where I can teach my children how to take care of themselves. So they can also know, okay, mommy left us whatever she needed to leave us, but we're okay and we know how to make more of it. That's legacy. That's deep.
All right, Cami,
Like that.
this has been amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you again for being here. Now, before
Yeah.
we go, I want you to tell everybody your how they can get in contact with you, as well as the
Yeah.
upcoming events that you have.
So, Picnic and Prayer is an event that we host once a year in Augusta, Georgia. It is for those who are churched, unchurched, and church hurt community. So, for those who really want to come back to God and trying to figure out, how do I do that? How does that look without feeling the judgment, without feeling the depression and the sadness? We open our doors to Picnic and Prayer. Picnic and Prayer is just a women's outreach where we have hundreds of women who come into a room and we're just worshiping. That's it. No judgment. However you feel like worshiping, to get back into hearing God's name, where He's speaking to you, where He is leading you. That's what we're providing for you at Picnic and Prayer. And that event is May 24th this year in Augusta, Georgia. And how you can get in contact with that information is follow me on Facebook, Charmed Browse, And you can find me on, I think it's the same thing as Instagram and Twitter, but generally try and browse. My phone number is 706-372-0277. You're welcome to call me or text me on my business line. I'll be able to help you, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get your wives into a career and kind of get them into a place where they can feel, comfortable again. I'm here.
Thank you so much. And you all, I will be posting her information. So it will be in the comments. It'll also be in the description as well.
Yes.
And Cami, here on the Black Beauty Podcast, when we end out, we like to end out with a very powerful statement. I am proud to be Black because Black is, and then I allow you to fill that in. So if you would like, I am proud to be Black because Black is
powerful.
Awesome. Powerful. And thank you all so much again. Y'all, listen, family, Royal Remnant family, please keep standing tall. Please keep creating. Please keep breaking the ceilings that people told you that you were not able to break. Grace and strength over the rest of your week. And until next time, stay rooted, stay rising. Thank you all.